meet a man called Mr. Jack Austin Warner. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. 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 Everybody don't know Jack is the man, the most humble and vibrant. Jack is the man, people waiting to see him. Jack is the man from 4 in the morning. Jack is the man, I say, most hardworking, so creative. The man with the biggest heart. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack Warner. Jack Warner. Jack Warner. He have a vision. Jack is the man to help the whole nation. Jack is the man. He give up his position. Jack is the man. Cause of the allegations. Jack is the man. I said he's so humble. He's so strong. He will prove all of them wrong. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man.
It is with great pleasure that we welcome a gentleman who was born in Rio Claro, January 26, I believe it is, 1943. Moved a couple of years later, 10 years later, on to Londonville in Chaguanas. And got to Chaguanas and decided to follow his education. Went through Mausica Training College and on to the University of the West Indies. He obtained a degree in history in 1967. He also holds a diploma in international relations. 6 years after that, 1973, he became the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association secretary and resigned there in 1990. That is the lead-up capsule of Mr. Jack Austin Warner. A very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rennie. I'm happy to be here this morning.
It is good to see you, all looking decked out, and you're green. You're comfortable this morning.
Yeah, because I went to church at 4:30 as always.
You did what I am supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I do miss that.
Yeah, you probably said that just to embarrass me a little bit. Let's see. You were the vice president of FIFA,
yes,
and president of CONCACAF all the way until your eventual resignation from these roles in 2011 amidst some allegations of corruption leading to the recent requested extradition of the U.S. government. But we'll get to that in a moment. In October 2007, what did you do? You were elected to the United National Congress Alliance. You were there as the chairman and co-leader. You led the party onto the 2007 general elections, and they won 15 of 41 seats. You were very instrumental in that group. Everybody said you were a fixture, inextricably interwoven into the fabric of this party. And then something happened. Tell us about that. What happened? I'm just giving our listeners a background and a context for where we are going with this.
Well, the fact is that there was some in the early years, you could have seen there was some differences of opinion between the cabal and me. Mm-hmm. And they were vying for the Prime Minister's attention. They felt that I was too much engrossed in the party and the Prime Minister's attention. I was too popular, they felt, and therefore they began to undermine me. And then when the CONCACAF had this report, the Prime Minister was in New York, And then she said, I saw a headline in The Guardian where she said she was stunned. So when she returned on the Saturday, after she met her cabinet, I went to her and told her I would resign. Mm-hmm. And I resigned from everything I had, including Parliament, including MP for Shakwanas West, including Chairman of the UNC.
From that statement, Mr. Warner, your disillusionment then was with your colleagues and not the Prime Minister. Is that what I'm understanding?
You are totally correct, because if you remember the local government election of 2013, for example, I made it a point on every platform, every speech to say and to blame the cabal. And I never blamed or touched or criticized the Prime Minister. Even after she attacked my family, even after she attacked my race, I still did not criticize her because I felt the cabal, they had their clutches around her, and therefore I excused her. But that changed subsequently.
There was a time when if the present Prime Minister had to shed a chair, I would shed 10 on her behalf. My friend, there was a time when you could not say anything wrong about Kamala. I up and take you on one time. I was Kamala, Pitbull. I was Kamala, Rottweiler. There was a time, my friends, there was a time when she said to the media, I was her right-hand man. And when she said so, there were about 7 ministers around her. If you see the face, boy. She said, I was her right-hand man. There was a time, my friends, there was a time when any major decision that had to be made, Kamala would consult me first. And I would guide her, I would advise her, and some of the blunders that she began to make since April 22nd, 2013, the blunders she has made between then and now, she never would have made. I never thought, after 5 years, that Kamala and they would have to fight to win an election. I never thought after 5 years, you had to have on US putting all over the country, your government working for you. I never thought, and this goes on and on. Look at today, 5 years after, they turning sod every Monday morning, opening more schools than you have children, building more hospitals than you have patients, and so on. After 5 years, who thought, but had Kamala and I stay together, it would be a walk in the park. But the fact is, she didn't want me. She didn't want me. And therefore I say tonight, to tell you, tonight I announce to you, that the I.L.P. has decided we shall remain independent and we shall field 41 candidates in the election. So therefore, thank you very much. Laventille East, Laventille West, Shakwanas East or West, becoming Digo Martin West, becoming Separia, becoming Oropush East and West, becoming Toapuna, becoming and San Fernando East and West. You better believe we're coming too. So therefore, if anything marks our independence, that decision I give you tonight spells it out. And moreover too, I want to tell you, that announcement has been made not to change the mind of the Chamber of Commerce, because we are going there. We are going there. They reject us before on the most spurious of reasons. And tonight I tell you, Catherine Kumar, we are coming there. Not going there. While they're debating, we walking. And guys, I tell you tonight, put on your walking shoes. Put on your walking shoes. You will walk as never before. Put on your green shirts. You'll need them more than ever. And on Sunday, while the other two parties, one in Nelson Mandela ground, and the other in Constantine Park, fetting and partying, Sunday morning we in church. We having an interfaith service, upper floor of Passage to Asia. And we are going there to thank God for bringing us through these past 5 turbulent years, and hoping to God that we don't ever get a chance to go through that again. I thank you.
I've always said that the problem with this government is that when it came into office, it did not have a vision. As a matter of fact, when I saw the Prime Minister giving $2 million for singing a rum song, I said that is the vision of the society.
I have become very outspoken against this administration, although it is UNC. I assisted the UNC. I was very close to Mr. Pandey, and in 1991 I became involved in the UNC. As a matter of fact, the constitution which the UNC operate under, I was the one who was responsible for that.
Okay.
And therefore I did not see this government as a government which was UNC. What they are doing is not what are the aims and objects of the UNC. So I have maintained this is not a UNC-led government. And you would have noticed at the celebration of the UNC, or the so-called UNC in Rienzi Complex, neither the founder, Mr. Pandey, nor myself, we were there. As a matter of fact, Mr. Jack Warner has been very helpful in building the UNC too. While they were celebrating, Jack Warner, Ramesh Raj, and Basir Pandey, Nizam Mohammed was in Chaguanas doing a public education program on why people should have a say on the Privy Council.
I thank all of you for the privilege. All of you have afforded me to speak to you this evening. This evening, I'm a proud man. This evening, as I look around, I am happy that I am the leader of the strongest team selected to vie for the 2015 general election. My dear ladies and gentlemen, more than ever before, I am proud to be I.L.P. As one surveys the political landscape, it is clear that we have reached the point when we no longer can take a position that is safe. We can no longer take a position that is popular or convenient. As one surveys the political landscape, it is clear that we have reached that point where we need to readjust our moral compass, rethink our value systems, and abandon past alliances, all for the good of our country. As we survey our political landscape, it is clear that we have reached the point where loyalty to country is much more important than loyalty to a party or loyalty to Kamla. Our conscience, my people, our conscience dictates and demands that we do the right thing. This evening, we have reached that point where no longer can we and should we tolerate the wrongdoing of this People's Partnership Government. We now have to get it right, and we have to do so quickly. Since May 24, 2010, our country began to experience an unprecedented shift, one that was taking us down a deep and dark abyss. Never before in our history have there been so many allegations of wrongdoing. Wrongdoing from state-sponsored murder to attempts to pervert the course of justice by many high-ranking government officials. Never before in our country's history have we had to grapple with a government that has been so blatantly corrupt, so blatantly shady, so blatantly crooked, and so blatantly mischievous. Never before in our country's history have we ever experienced a government whose ministers' sudden acquisition of wealth stands in stark contrast to the growing impoverished masses in our society. Tonight, my friends, we have reached that point where our loyalty to country must be greater than our loyalty to party, and of course, our loyalty to Kamla. Tonight, I am very disturbed because in 2010, when together we campaigned under the banner, "We shall rise," we campaigned against the idea of a maximum leader. Unfortunately, the good values that we cherish, the values we cherished then, my friends, have now been swept under the carpet as greed, notoriety, and nepotism have now taken root and have initiated the social decay that is tearing our society apart. The People's Partnership Government has drifted far from their lofty ideals. The obsession of their so-called leaders to stay in power has blinded them. They have failed to realize that the thing they campaigned against is now the very thing that they have become. They campaigned against being crooked. Today, they are more crooked than anybody else in the history of this country.
Green Brigade! Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Tell Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack. Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack, Uncle Jack. Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for? Who you voting for?
Because actually, let me explain to you now. Right? I want to be fair. I.P.N.M. But listen to me. There isn't a party making more sense than Jack Warner.
You know, faith have a way. Faith have a way of doing things that human beings can hardly ever imagine. Nobody could have told me in 2000 or 2007 when Jack Warner and I walked the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago along with Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj to put Kamla in power. It would take Jack Warner and I to go through the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago to take Kamla Prasad out of power. My brothers and sisters, not too often I ask God to forgive me for things that I do or things that I say. But today, I want to ask God his forgiveness for foistering upon the people of Trinidad and Tobago a woman called Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And I also ask your forgiveness. And I know that I'm asking that forgiveness on behalf of Jack as well. But thank God Almighty, that Monday is going to be here one day from now. And when Monday comes, we must go to the polls and ensure that we vote Kamla Prasad Bisesa and her cabal out. So don't let them fool you. And the woman is an ungrateful person. She has no thanks. And just before I go, let me let you know, she is not running the country, and she can't run the country, and we must not give the others who run in the country for her an opportunity to suffer the people of Trinidad and Tobago again. Shini makaram, shini makaram. I don't give a damn. Shini makaram.
Our today has not ushered in the brightest morning. But today, I'm asking you, as from today, let us hope for a better tomorrow, where we still be where we shall still be able to see the light under the darkness which Kamala has brought. My friends, let us move towards the stars. Move towards the stars and leave Kamala's scars behind. The scars which Kamala and the government have inflicted upon us. My friends, I ask you again tonight, let us embark on a journey where our hopes and not our hurts will change our future, and put behind your back the shadow of the most evil government this country has ever seen. She was crying last night, I'm told. She was crying at the award ceremony, and she was crying because it was her last ceremony. Those of you who saw the show would have seen tears coming down her face, begging for sympathy, begging for help. But don't fall for that. I tell you before, anytime Kamala kisses you, it's a kiss of death. A kiss of death. Kamala opened the ministry. She opened the Mayaro, a fire station. And the fact is, my friends, the cement, the concrete is still wet. They were planting grass last night. She opened Cougar Hospital, but she opened and she closed it. Open, sesame, open. I see yellow. What I can say is thank God it's a green. Fellas, who inside it? Who inside it? I ain't saying nothing. Just tell me who inside it. Kamala, and the rising sun. All right. Well, from now to Monday, make sure you keep that lit. From now to Monday, keep that coffin lit. So I say to you, therefore, I know some of you have loyalty to the PNM. I understand that. But my friends, I want you to have loyalty to your country. Because the PNM lady, I've never spoken badly about her. I wave each time I pass here. All the PNM people must know that priority cannot win. This is a straight fight between Fazal Karim and me. And I'm saying, I saw today Erica Harry walking with Fazal in Londonville. And I shook my head. Because if Fazal only know about Erica Harry, he stay far from her. But that's all right. Let him, of course, work with her. The point I'm making to you, however, is that you, who of course are loyal to the PNM, I am saying to you, be loyal to your country, vote the I.L.P. and vote Jack Warner.
As you were Minister of National Security, so the issue of the port must have disturbed you as far as what goes on down there, and the lax accountability and the avenue for a lot of crime. How do you see us solving this?
I'm telling you, you put the army, your army, instead of being Chagaramos, you put them at various points in your country.
There are some who argue that the army has already been infiltrated. There are some who argue that the army has already been infiltrated.
Let me put it this way. I don't think the army has been infiltrated to the point that the police service has been. Mm-hmm. And therefore there's still some hope. In your army and your coast guard, you put coastal stations, you declare your assets. You also say that in terms of the I said to them, put a magistrate court in the remand yard. Justice on time, all over the place, hustling on pushing off the road.
That's an outrageous.
Why don't you put the court in the remand yard?
Yes, that situation
and try more, of course, persons there that had them all over the place. And I'm saying have night court. You have night court there for you. This country has over 500,000 cases. This country.
But a backlog of up to 13 and 14 years.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
There is no
and
way.
This is remand we're talking about.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way in our collective lifetime this case will be tried.
No way. Mm-hmm.
And therefore you have to find mechanisms to fast track it. And therefore that's what we are saying. And the list goes on and on. I mean that is for crime. The other one, of course, we're dealing with is agriculture. We say, of course, have a seed bank with a focus to preserve local stock. We are saying, of course, to aggressively increase access roads so that people could bring out their produce and so on. Mm-hmm. We are saying that you also have to establish community-based farms, and these farms will produce foods that are viable and sustainable. We also say have an insurance for the farmers when the farmers, in case of flood and things and so on, the insurance can take care of themselves. We are also making the point that you have to revitalize the coconut industry. The coconut industry. Look, Rennie. We have reached a point where we are surviving only on oil and gas. There was a time when this country had a good agricultural base. Where is our coconut industry? You drive to Manzanilla, on both sides of the road, the trees are dying. Nobody is concerned. At one point in time, the cocoa industry in this country was the best in the world. The best in the world. The guys used to come here for our cocoa, for chocolate and so on. Today, where's the cocoa industry?
Is there no cognizance to the need to diversify the economy, you think? Or is it because by importing it's creating avenue for more people to make money? I mean, what's the justification for the neglect in your view?
The neglect is simply because the government, I'm talking about particularly this one who has said, the government believes that they will have more, I'm going to put it carefully, they'll have more avenues for kickback, right? If they go to the oil and gas and they do some high projects. Agriculture is something that takes time. Agriculture also too does not have the same level of kickback as other areas. We say that, of course, we have to change the syllabus of the schools. For example, Rennie, the child who goes to school in Martlot has the same syllabus as the child in Woodbrook. Now, the two things are different. The child in Martlot lives on the sea, on fishing, on the boat and so on. His curriculum must be different from the guy who's in Woodbrook first.
Because the experience is different.
That is correct. And we are saying, therefore, that's the first case. We are saying, too, that you have to expand our OJT program, as you have it now, but also include an employment placement agency. So when these guys finish at 2 or 3 years, as they do, this agency then gets them employment as such. We are also saying that we have to put a tax incentive for small businesses that provide early childhood facilities for more than 20 children. Businesses must be able to do this for more than 20 children. And they give them a tax break for this. Today, the Prime Minister gives out a computer. I mean, it's so vulgar. It comes like $5,000 a person for hearty foods. But you give computers, and the people don't have Wi-Fi where they live in.
So what is the sense of having it if you don't have access?
You go Kumuto, Tokosa, and Grandi, and there is no Wi-Fi. So what's the purpose of giving them the computers? We go to transport. Now, transportation, as you know, is a burden here. We lose more man hours on the road than ever before.
Yes.
Let me give this a simple thing that we're saying. We are saying to take the priority bus route and the Eastern Main Road. We are saying from 6 to 9, make the priority bus route one way northbound, and make the Eastern Main Road one way eastbound.
Okay.
Sorry, not north, westbound and eastbound. So your priority bus route one way westbound, the from 6 to 9 and 3 to 6. Do away with this foolishness about any minister giving you a bus pass and so on, and you have to get a bus pass from a minister, and you even give it because you're PNM or you're I.L.P. That must be finished. The roads are built with taxpayers' money, and therefore all citizens must use our roads. There must be anything for what person be denied of our roads. So we're saying do away with that and let the priority bus route comes in. Then we are saying we're having a bus-only lane in many of the roads to facilitate a new express bus service.
A bus only, most of the roads can barely take 2 vehicles if you put a...
But you can build bus lanes.
I see.
If you can build bus lanes, because I have checked myself. Look, when you go down to the when you look at any one of the highways, for example, anyone, between the northbound and southbound is a big piece of land there. Use that. Nothing is wrong about that.
You're saying to expand the width of the roads
that is correct.
And create a bus lane.
That is correct.
Okay.
And we are saying also too, we introduce carpooling. You have to also use carpooling and give people incentive to carpool.
That's right. You must have the incentive there.
Travel there, one person in a car going to power speed.
What do you feel about tolls for, just a question, tolls for people who are traveling one person in a car?
Well, I have no problem. I mean, our party didn't think about that. But
because if you put an incentive, you have to get a disincentive.
That is correct. You are right, right? You are correct. And I believe that, of course, you should do that as well. And last but not least, you have to modernize the public transportation hubs. You should be able to sit on your phone, on your thing and see what time the bus is coming. I know you say this thing, but I know we have to do that. I mean, we have to do that.
Well, the only reason I chuckle is not because it's ridiculous what you're saying. I only chuckle because before you arrived here, I spoke with the president of the Transport Industrial Workers Trade Union, who was telling me we have a fleet of 500 buses and only 200 is working because the others can't find parts for it.
That is correct. You're right, because they bring bus one government bring from China, another government bring from Brazil, another government bring from Russia, and then they have a contractor who building houses and building roads as opposed to building buses. I mean, it is scandalous, and this is what happens.
Staying on transportation, the idea of the PNM to put a rapid rail, that is not something that appeals to you as part of the solution to this traffic nightmare you speak of?
When I was Minister of Works and Transport at the time, Kamala Prasad, besides the government, had considered a rapid rail.
And this was on the continuation of an exploratory study that the PNM did? Is this the same one?
That is correct. That is correct. And then we had sent it to a committee to study, to see how it can be brought in effectively in shortest possible time. After she split the ministry and she took away transport, it went before Devant Maraj. And he too was pushing it aggressively. And that is where it is at the moment. So to say that this is a PNM idea, and this is an idea which we inherited from the PNM.
So you're not adverse to having a rapid rail?
At all.
I see. Okay.
At all. At the end of the day, that for me is the ultimate solution.
I think so too, yes. Okay, so we've got 4. I just need one final one to understand.
Let's take housing.
Housing, oh right. Yes. That's why don't you just run a lottery? It seems to be the easy way. I'm being funny.
No, but a lottery is not
I am being funny, Mr. Warner.
Let's take the easy part first. We are saying we introduce a rent assessment board. Landlords today charging people rent that are ridiculous.
Yes.
Living in some homes that they don't even maintain or keep and so on. And therefore we are saying bring that board back and make sure that the board can function effectively and so on.
You are saying we don't have an existing rent assessment board?
No, we don't. We are saying also to prepare and deliver these deeds for the agency mortgage within 12 months. People have agency homes for 12 years. They haven't gotten the deed as yet. At all, and therefore they can't even go to the bank to get a loan to do renovation and so on. We said 12 months is the minimum. That must change. We say also too that the agency, the government must stop building houses. What the government must do is develop the infrastructure, give people infrastructure, and give people loans. Let them build their own homes. And therefore, of course, you'll have a whole host of artisans coming forward, because you'll build your house, you have your own mason, you have your own carpenter, you have your own painter and so on, and therefore now you have this thing, and the houses will be built cheaper.
Any effort to alleviate this housing madness, because the cost of rent is prohibitive. It's just unbelievable. But would it be a workable solution, I ask of you, to have small contractors because the only way you can do this, I think effectively, I am suggesting, is that it must be done orderly, which is to say you bring together all small contractors with a mandate to hire people in their area.
Absolutely perfect.
Is that not a better way than to give out the money to everybody? Because then you're looking for a whole set of madness.
But in any event, you can have a combination of the two.
Okay.
Right? But the fact is, what happens now, you have three contractors who build all houses in this country for billions of dollars. You tell me, a guy who gets an HEC house for $700,000, our houses are supposed to be affordable. And therefore we are saying here that no mortgage must be more than $1,000.
All right, but as obtained right now, you've got a list in the offices of the HGC right now that they're taking these names that date back as far, some people say as far back as 10, 15 years ago. And the new solution is to do a lottery, which I think is obscene, is to do a lottery that means a man who comes in today can get something before a man who's been there for 20 years. What would you do with an HGC situation that exists now? I understand your down the road plan, which is to say either bring in the contractors or give it individually to the homeowners and say bring in the local people to work on it. But what do you do with this backlog that's there right now?
You have to take care of those people who came first. You can't have a lottery and the guys who came yesterday are the ones that you consider it's not fair. And those who came first, you have to take care of them. And I'm saying you have to make sure that you give them the necessary tools by which they could build their homes.
Indeed.
And at the end of the day, there is no way the government could build houses for everybody. But the government can make it affordable and easy for people to own their homes.
Let us see. We've got housing, we've got transportation, education, agriculture, and crime. I want to get back to crime in a minute. I do want to ask you that I was hoping would be, and I don't know if it's probably a subheading under your crime area, but this question of the corruption that you articulated that we are all aware, and there is no body in place to reconcile the income of government workers, ministers included. Nobody to reconcile that with their way of living. What would you do to control that corruption, really?
Before I answer you, I want to say that our chairman had said that we should have a special fraud court. Special fraud court to try for fraud only, white-collar crimes. Because at the end of the day, we believe that white-collar crimes sometimes are more dangerous than the other crimes.
It affects a lot more people.
That is correct. And it is hidden also too from so many people. So that's one. But in terms of the ministers and their ostentation way of life, they will have to show where the money is coming from. They will have to show, and a special committee of the government that is totally independent must be able to verify that these guys have not gotten ill-gotten gains. The point is, Rennie, at this point in time, I can't point to a single minister in government whose way of life is not beyond the salary he's receiving. I can't.
I talked to Ganga saying them not coming in here. I talked to PNM, they're not coming here. I.L.P is the only people coming in. I've given them my vote, my madam vote, and my whole family vote.
Walking through a dream, I see you. My light in darkness, breathing hope of new life. Now I live through you and you through me, enchanting. Your dimension, all the colors of love and of life, I say feel for your flying high. Your love shines away into paradise. So I offer my life as a sacrifice to live through
Good night, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight, the Independent Liberal Party wishes to present the persons whom have come forward to represent you and who tomorrow will be asking for your vote and your support. We are asking you to support them to become your representative. It's been a long journey, but we believe that throughout this campaign, we have accredited ourselves well. The I.L.P is confident that these men and women whom we present to you today will represent your interest in your constituency in a manner that is second to none. Tonight, the I.L.P is proud to present our candidates who are asking you for your vote tomorrow. We shall be introducing our candidates in 4 groups, beginning with group number 1. Michelle Johnson, the Caroni Central. Abuza Mohammed, Caroni East. Andrew Brooks, from Mayaro. Riza Hussein, Naparima. Paul Peters, Tobago West. And to address you now, Mr. Sunil Ranjit Singh for Couva North.
Fellow citizens, and especially the constituents of Couva North, good night. As we go to the polls tomorrow morning, we must believe in ourselves and in the power each of us has to make a difference. We all have concerns about the way the affairs of our country are managed, the management of the economy, traffic congestion, job creation, crime, the cost of living, and all of those governance matters that impact directly on our daily lives. We must select persons who will put representation ahead of power. We must vote for persons who will put the needs of the population first at all times and who are willing to work. This is what the I.L.P. represents. Give the I.L.P. a chance. Let's do something different and let's get it right. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Sunil. And now it is our pleasure to present to you group number 2, Katian Lamont, Diego Martin Central, Fitzdavid Samuel, Laventil East Mova, Andre Clifford, Moruga Tableland, Kelly Dingul, Couva South, Portia Powder, Tobago East. And to address you now, Mr. Dane Francois, Toko Sandigan.
My fellow citizens, good evening. Every 5 years, our democracy allows us an opportunity to select individuals to serve us. Tomorrow morning, we have an awesome responsibility to select a government to manage our affairs over the next 5 years. It is interesting that 20 years ago, we waited 6 hours or more at an emergency room, and 20 years later, the same exists. Tomorrow morning, the I.L.P. proposes to change the way every citizen lives, not just in healthcare, but also the I.L.P. proposes not just to change the way we live in terms of healthcare, but also that of our economic development as citizens across this nation. Tomorrow morning, we have a responsibility to select the best individuals to serve this nation. With the I.L.P., it is our intent to have every sector in society working well. Give us a chance to work for you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dane Francois. Now it's our pleasure to present the candidates for group number 3. Fabian Assi, Faizabad. Trent Holdit, Laventil West. Trina Bascom, Pointe-a-Pierre. Donna Jennings, Arima. And to address you now, Dr. Lena Berriton, Kumoto Manzanilla.
My name is Dr. Lena Berriton, and I am your candidate for Kumoto Manzanilla. In the constituency of Kumoto Manzanilla, there are many challenges, none of which are insurmountable. Social problems such as poverty, illiteracy, school dropout, teenage pregnancy, no employment, especially for our youth, infrastructural problems such as poor road conditions, lack of adequate water supply, and so many other problems. But Kumoto Manzanilla is very rich in its natural beauty. With many scenic spots, all of which can be explored to provide a source of income for its people. In addition, Kumoto Manzanilla possesses some of the most arable agricultural lands, producing large amounts of rice, among other agricultural products, oranges, bananas, mangoes, breadfruit, coconut, and so many more. Not forgetting fishing and hunting as both commercial and recreational opportunities. I am a member of the I.L.P., and we are committed to the development of all citizens. I pledge to you, as your representative, to work assiduously to correct many of these ills, to make representation on your behalf, to bring about lasting change. I am your candidate for Kumuto Manzanilla. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Berriton. Now introducing Group 4, Dominic Romaine, David O'Mara, Taja Carrington, Diego Martin West, Amarnath Jagesa, Shogunas West, Jiwan Ramdeen, St. Anne's East. I'm here to address you, Nigel Rez, Lupino Bonner.
Good evening, fellow citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. As we count down the mere hours before general elections of 2015, I urge you to ask yourself one question. Are we better off today than we were 5 years ago? In 2010, our food importation bill was $4 billion. Today, 2015, that bill has increased by over $1 billion. So I ask you, are we better off? This government rode into office on a mandate of eliminating corruption. Yet today, every office in the land that we once deemed sacred now seems corrupted. So I ask you again, are we better off today than we were 5 years ago? I can give you a number of reasons why the I.L.P should be the government of choice, but tonight I'll give you one. Many people believe that the resources of the state exist so that themselves and their families could benefit. We at the I.L.P believe that the resources of this country should be to the benefit of each and every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And we shall ensure that you have this through proper representation, action, and performance. I am Nigel Reyes, Lupino Bonner West, and I ask you to vote for me. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nigel Rez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce to you the political leader of the Independent Liberal Party, Mr. Jack Austin Warren.
Thank you. My fellow citizens, we have come to the end of a long, harrowing 3 months of campaigning. When I came to you 5 years ago, I came to you under a different political party, which party promised to improve your lives. The party promised that no more would we have corruption as existed in the previous administration. Such things as racism, nepotism, graft, greed were supposed to be things of the past. After 5 years and 3 months, I ask you, are you happy? Are you comfortable? Are you pleased with the dream that we had and shared in 2010? That dream has today come to fruition? I want to suggest to you that dream has become a nightmare. Don't allow any amount of box drains to fool you. Don't allow any amount of rush jobs to fool you. You have to bear in mind that many of these jobs have been done, many of them poorly, so as to allow some contractors and some ministers to enrich themselves illegally. And therefore I ask you tonight, do you have any doubt at all that we have come to the end of a long nightmare? I want to say to you tonight that at the end of the day, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. And you have to decide whether you are pleased to go back into a relationship as obscene as the one you had for the last 5 years and 3 months. I have no doubt that you make a wise choice. You have seen our candidates here tonight. All of them young, fresh, bright, willing to work to save this country and to put this country on a better footing once again.
I ask you tonight to give them your support, because I know for a fact that you, over the last 5 years, did not get your fair share. Did you get your fair share? The answer is no. As Nigel Wes just ask you, are you better off today than you were yesterday? The answer has to be no. Oh sure, a small clique, a small cabal is better off. But are you better off? Are you better off? Ask yourself. And the answer has to be no. And therefore, since you didn't get your fair share, it is left to us in the I.L.P. to redress the imbalances of the past. It is left to us to correct the wrongs which had been put on this country over the last 5 years and 3 months. Look at the oil prices today. From $100, today it's now $38. And yet for all, your government is spending money as if they are printing it. There is no care whatsoever about tomorrow. There is no care whatsoever about the young one. And therefore, we in the I.L.P. feel that we are best poised to bring this country back to what it was before. We have said again and again that you must not indulge in seesaw politics. One period you put PNM, and next period you put UNC. PNM, UNC, PNM, UNC. We are telling you that we are giving you something different. And tonight we ask all of you, to stand and be counted. If not for your sake, for your children's sake. After 5 years and 3 months, didn't this government come into power to solve crime? But we are 2,000 murders late, and crime has not been touched. This government came to stem the tide of corruption, and yet this government singularly has been the most corrupt government in the Western Hemisphere. Are these things you can be proud of? Are these things you are happy with for your children and your children's children? The answer must be no. And if you love your country, therefore, we say, time for a change. I have heard that you must not change. But my dear citizens, change is a form of life. Without change, you are dead. And therefore, anybody who tells you you must not change is someone who wants you to go back to the evils of the past. The graft, the greed, the corruption. We are saying, bring an end to that. At no point in time did you ever vote a government into office for that. At no point in time. And we have said in the I.L.P. that we are best poised to improve the lives of the people. I feel quite certainly, I am quite sure, where I stand here tonight, that those candidates of the I.L.P. are fit to govern. Many persons have been elected and could not govern. Our candidates can be elected and govern. And therefore tonight, I make a plea to you in this country, I make a plea to you tonight, that you have to make sure that you correct the evils of the past. And there's only one way you can do that, is by voting for the I.L.P. Look at our manifesto. If you have any doubts, look at our manifesto. It is one with a difference. It is one that talks about human values, that talks about spirit, that talks about ethos. In our manifesto, we have said many things, but for me and my party, some things stand out. For example, we have said that we have to give everyone land security, security of tenure. We have said that letters of comfort are of no value and they are meant to fool you. The same applies to letters of intent, because there is no legal basis for these letters, and therefore an I.L.P. government will ensure that everybody who has been squatting on state land will be regularized legally. I want to also give you 2 more points in our manifesto. One thing we said also in the manifesto, that we will do everything possible to make sure that the age for young people to enter into the Senate has been reduced from 25 years to 18 years. Many parties talk about young people, but what have they done for young people? What have they said? And therefore we are saying, the I.L.P., that everybody who is 18 years and over is entitled to be in the Senate, and we shall remove that age restriction that exists at the moment. And the third thing we have said, that we shall look at transportation, which is one of the critical problems in the country. You have to have bus lanes. You have to have staggered hours for people to work. Why is it that everybody has to go to work at 8 a.m. and up to 4 p.m.? And if the hours are staggered, therefore, it means that you have less traffic on the road at different times. And therefore, we shall look at staggered hours of work. We shall look at having priority bus lanes. We shall look at revising the priority bus route to make it one way going westward on mornings and one way going eastward on afternoons, and reverse takes place on the Eastern Main Road, and the list goes on and on. We are a young party, fresh, with bright ideas. We ask you to give us a chance. We could only perform if you give us a chance. If you have faith in what we are saying, what we are preaching. Because at the end of the day, our concern for this country is as acute as yours. You, as parents, you, as citizens of this country, have made an investment here. And your investment here is critical. And therefore, this country is on the brink of a precipice. If you vote wrongly tomorrow, it falls off the precipice. That's it. It's finished. Do you want to see that? Do you really want to see UNC come back in power and to rape this country as they have been doing these past 5 years? Do you want that? Then if you don't want that, what you have to do is to make sure that the I.L.P. gets into power. We can prevent that. We say so from day one. And therefore, I ask you before I close, I ask you again to support the I.L.P. Vote for the I.L.P. tomorrow. We can make a difference. We have knowledge, experience, and youth on our side. No other party has that combination of knowledge, experience, and youth. And therefore, we feel equipped to be best able to serve you. We are asking you, therefore, you and you and you, we are asking you to vote for us. It's the one chance you have in 5 years to do it right. Vote for us. Vote for the I.L.P. I thank you.
This is a true story about a man called Mr. Jack Austin Warner. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. 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 Everybody done know Jack is the man, the most humble and vibrant. Jack is the man, people waiting to see him. Jack is the man from 4 in the morning. Jack is the man, I say, most hardworking, so creative. The man with the biggest heart. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is we only leader. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. The man with the greatest plan. Jack Warner. Jack Warner. Jack Warner. He have a vision. Jack is the man to help the whole nation. Jack is the man. He give up his position. Jack is the man. Cause of the is the man. I say he's so humble, he's so strong. He will prove all of them wrong. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack Warner is the greatest master. Jack Warner is the only leader. Jack is the man. Jack is the man. Jack is the man with the greatest.